at least the better half. Brad was once again kidnapped by ninjas, so that's bad news. And more bad news is they took our good mouse. So I have kind of a spotty mouse here. It's a little odd. But we will be going over the Hearthstone Grand Tournament expansion. Brad was nice enough to get us a couple packs, specifically 52. We're going to be talking to these partially from a constructed standpoint. There'll be a lot new archetypes coming out due to the new dearth of cards, but also from a limited standpoint, looking at these cards, trying to evaluate them as whether we would scale them on the scale from 0 to 100 that we had seen before, depending on the class. Oh, and that's Brad just now telling us from the Ninja Hideout that the worst part is that he doesn't get to open the packs. So we get all the fun without him here. I'm going to go grab a drink real quick. I'll be back in just 1 second. The power of Sanic. Super fast and super blue. Alright, so I'm gonna get warmed up with these two boring packs. Let's start with the boring pack. The good old-fashioned packs. Oh, we have to drag these over. It's gonna be hard with this mouse. Alright. Cult Master. Right? So we'll use these kind of as a descriptor to talk about the strengths of these cards. And Cult Master is a strong card for the synergistic reasons and not so much for the power, right? We would expect to get a little bit more power or toughness for 4 mana. The high standard is 4/5 for 4. We see a couple of those in the Yetis.
I see, you have a lot of those.
But whenever another minion dies, drawing a card is a very powerful effect. It lets you get ahead on the board. Creatures are going to die. You usually can control when that's going to happen. You can usually play Cult Master, attack your creature into theirs, and gain up a card, essentially. Snipe, we're going to talk about secrets. Whenever your opponent plays a minion, deal 4 damage to it. Now, this is probably one of the better secrets in the game overall. It's usually going to kill what they play, but, you know, on occasion, later in the game, it won't. So we'll have more than 4 toughness. Torn Warrior, we see the classic 2/3 for 3, or some kind of numbers around there, which is below scale. We'd rather see the 2 cost 2/2, or 2/3, or 3/2, than a 3 cost 2/3. So we're paying a little bit extra for the ability here, Taunt and Enrage, which is a nice combo. Keeper of the Grove. Right, this is a modal card. We choose one, deal 2 damage, or silence a minion. Now, 4 for 2/4 is below rate, but having the option to either deal 2 damage or silence a minion means that he's almost always going to turn out to be a net positive card. He's either getting rid of strong abilities on an opponent's card, getting rid of negative abilities on one of your cards, or at the very worst, is dealing an extra 2 damage to an opponent, but usually also killing a small creature is an option. All right, and we see a 2/3 for 3 with a good ability. I think overall, Thrallmar Farseer is going to be rated a little higher than something like Torn Warrior, where you have to wait for your opponent or get interacted with for this card to do something. This card just by itself already has a straight effect. All right, we're going to go into the Grand Tournament. Taking our first pack. Prepare yourself for a day of the most impressive jousting, eye-popping sideshows, and the mightiest combat you've ever encountered. All right, here it comes. Let's start with the top. Wild Walker Druid, 4/4/4/4. Happy. This you're losing 1 point of toughness off one of the best cards to give a friendly beast +3 health. In a draft or an arena, I would normally take a 4/5 Yeti, the 4/5 Yeti over the 4/4, just because you're not always going to have a beast consistently. Maybe later once you have some beasts. But in a constructed queues, I'm thinking that the +3 beast or +3 health to the beast is a lot more powerful. This is quite a bit of value right there. And it's not just restoring 3 health. Restoring 3. It's giving it additional 3 health. Healing Wave Shaman 3. Restore 7 health. Reveal minion in each of your deck. If yours costs more, restore 14 instead. So in Magic and in Hearthstone, there's a point at which life gain's not worth a card by itself. They're trying to push that. 3 for 7 health would not be interesting. Now, the fact that if we have cards that cost more than theirs, we have our one big bomb or whatever, and Shaman does have a couple of cards that are quite expensive to themselves, we can gain 14. The question is, even at 14 health, is that worth 3? Later in the game, that was maybe only 1 or 2 attacks. Early on in the game, it's a lot of time, but it's hard to say. I don't think this card will normally see any play unless there is some sort of synergy deck that does something cool with gaining the extra health that goes with that. All right, let's come over here. Buccaneer. Whenever you equip a weapon, give it +1 attack. I think this is great. The Rogue, 1 for 2/1 is serviceable. This is the kind of card that I'm going to not rate too terribly highly. You don't want that many one-casted cards, but if you're playing the Rogue, the fact that you can keep making those equipments and they get +1 attack is a pretty big deal. I think this is on the higher scale. So far, I still think Druid's the best card of the 5, or the 3 you've opened so far. Undercity Valiant, 2 for a 3/2. Combo, deal 1 damage. This is great. 2 for a 3/2 is serviceable. And the fact that it has a upside of dealing 1 damage, which can sometimes kill an opposing card, weaken it to a point where you can trade favorably, and at the very worst with the combo, that is 1 damage. I think that this is an excellent card. Both of these Rogue cards are quite good, but Rogue was in need of a boost. It's probably the weakest of all of the players in Constructed and Limited as well. Tuskar Totemic. So we've got a Shaman card here. 3 for a 3/2. We're expecting a good ability. Battle Cry. Summon any random totem. Any. This isn't just the baseline, so there's the very, very powerful totems come through here. A lot of variants, but we might be able to see a constructed deck that's really totem-oriented, kind of playing with something like this. I think as far as a limited format goes, the Wild Walker is the best of these 3, and then probably the Valiant, and then the Buccaneer, and then the Shaman. They're all fine. Everything but the Healing Wave is pretty exciting, actually. All right, let's bust another pack. We got 50 of these to go through. To do some hustling. All right. Fearsome Doomguard, 7 for an 8/6. Now, the interesting part here is that it's a Warlock card and it's a Demon. Demon synergies are pretty frequent, and I think this is the largest Demon. It's kind of vanilla meaning kind of plain. It does have that little emblazoned emblem on it, which is nice. You have ways to cheat demons in and interesting things to do with demons. Not normally that great as far as Constructed goes, but in Limited it's very serviceable, or in Arena. Clockwork Knight, August, 5 for 5/5. Now that's a little bit below rate. Remember, when we start getting up higher, it becomes a little worse. The same thing for the 6/8. Battle card, give a friendly mech +1/+1. That's excellent. Often in Arena, you're going to have a few mechs, so that'll be able to shine. And in Constructed, it's probably not quite good enough. Just that +1/+1 across it's just not really there. But again, these are common cards, so you're not expecting too much out of them. Evil Heckler, 4 for a 5/4, all classes. Now, this is an exciting card. I think this is the best of the 3. It probably is better than the 4/4/4. I think this is the best card we've seen so far. This is the kind of card that can see play in Constructed just for the efficiency of it. 4 for a 5/4 is great. It's going to kill a lot of your opponent's creatures. And the 4 toughness usually means it's going to trade with 2 creatures or 1 very reasonable creature. Oh, here we go. Wormrest Agent. Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt. So this dragon theme, pushing more dragons matters. Not sure if we're still at the density for that to be super effective. And in Limited or Arena, it's just not going to be good as a 2 for a 1/4. Now, 2 for a 2/4 taunt is a lot more exciting, but how many dragons are you running, etc., etc. This is an early card to help aid the creation of the dragon deck, which doesn't quite exist yet. 3 for a 5/2 Ice Rager. I kind of like this. I've seen cards like this before in Magic. High power, low toughness creatures. Now, if your opponent doesn't have any creatures, right? If you're using your creatures to trade off, your 5/2 is going to do well. But you're going to need tricks, you're going to need cards to help push it through, things like Divine Shield, to really take advantage of this high power. The other good part to this is it can trade up pretty well. You can kill your opponents with bigger creatures that costed more mana crystals. That all said, with your opponent being able to attack the 2 toughness directly, this card's not going to be an all-star most of the time. It's got a pretty high floor, it's got a real low ceiling. So, it's got a pretty low floor and a real high ceiling on both ends. So That kind of variance means that sometimes it'll shine and sometimes it'll just do real scrubby, die to their 1 or 2 play. I still think Evil Heckler is shining by quite a bit as far as the strongest card. Remember, 4 is the magic number as far as costs go in Hearthstone. What do we got? Dryani, Totem Carver, 4/4/4/4 Shaman, serviceable. Any pluses is a big plus. Gain +1/+1 for each friendly totem. That's a fairly powerful ability in the Shaman deck. I'm still not sold in the constructed queues that this is going to be strong enough or big enough. But in limited with Shaman, I would definitely pick this pretty high. You can usually have 1 or 2 totems out when you play this, unless your opponent's spinning at a time trying to kill your totems and not you. Cut Purse, 2 for a 2/2. Fine. Rogue, when this minion attacks a hero, add the coin to your... And hey, that's a kind of exciting card. It's letting you repeatedly increase how much you can spend. And with Rogue and combo, that's an extremely strong effect. This may be the most abusable card we've seen so far. You can, if you can get more than 1 attack, you can have multiple coins. You can have 2 or 3 coins, and then have a very large combo turn or a sequence of combo turns. This basically sets you up to have extra mana should you need that, and more importantly, have a combo every turn that you'd like. All right, Refreshment Vendor, 4 for a 3/4, or sorry, 4 for a 3/5. Restore 4 health to each hero. It's symmetrical, but you're gonna be able to abuse it. It's nice. The power and toughness is where you want it to be at. It's 8 or 9. This is 8. Across 4 is fine. And the other exciting part about this too is that you're building your deck to take advantage of it. You might have synergies, cleric, etc., etc. Murloc Knight. Hey, it was a big Murloc. King Data Murloc. 4 for a 3/4, so slightly underrate. Summon a random Murloc. Inspire. Does something after you use your hero power. So I'm not sure if we've seen this ability before. I think Inspire's new. Summon a random Murloc whenever you use your ability. So that means if you had you play this on turn 6, you can use the Inspire immediately. Being 1 power down is sort of a downside, but usually the Murloc decks are about going wide. And I would use this with a synergy deck that wanted mini creatures or mini Murlocs. Bear Track, 2, Secret. After your hero is attacked, summon a 3/3 bear with taunt. Solid, very solid. The fact that it's a 3/3 for 2 is very good. Now it has to be when you're attacked, so it's going to put a little crimp in it. It's not changing, it's not redirecting the attack to that, but it is letting you attack back. It is letting you get people on the field, bodies on the field. So I think this is one of the better traps we've seen for a while too. All right, let's see what our next pack holds. Mysteries of the Park. Gadget Zan Jouster. Gadget Zan Jouster. Whew. It's a mouthful. Battle or 1 for a 1/2. So that's underwhelming. That's not really a card you want to play. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain +1/+1. So we've kind of got this theme of if yours costs more, whose is bigger. Now, that means if you draw your big card first, or it gets removed from your deck somehow, but probably if you draw it, you're going to be down that card. So you can't just depend on the 1 big card to make this entire deck go through. Usually you're going to want to have 1 or 2 big cards. So it's iffy to see if that mechanic's going to be good or not. Especially since your opponent's also likely to have big cards if they're playing similar strategies. And 1 for a 2/3 is still not that exciting when it's conditional. And this is conditional. Zombie Chow's a much better card. North Sea Kraken, 9 for a 9/7. Battlecry, deal 4 damage. So, at a lot of other points, this card would be great. So if we can imagine this as like 6 for a 6/4 that deals 2 damage, that's a pretty exciting card. At 9, the 4 damage is quite a bit, but you're at the point where lots of the cards are going to be very strong. The effects are going to be very big. So it's like sort of a diminishing returns aspect. Even increasing the damage to 5 or 6 doesn't make this card much better. The real problem is how much it costs. And while it does usually get you another card, a lot of 9 and 10 spells do a lot. This doesn't do bad. And you're usually able to if they have 2 creatures, this can kill one of them so that their card can't kill your 9/7 back and all that kind of stuff. So it's just not terrible. But I wouldn't overrate it as an extremely strong card or one that I would pick very, very early. Another Murloc Knight. Ancestral Knowledge. 2, draw 2 cards, overload 2. That's an exciting card. Later it can be very powerful. Early, it's fine. And if you don't have anything else to do, it does set you quite a bit behind. Playing this on turn 2, if you didn't play a 1 and your opponent played a 2, is costing you a lot of life. So it's something to be very aware of. That there's a damage usually associated with this card if played early. Still very powerful. Hey now. Dread Scale. 3 for a 4/2. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all his minions. This is the kind of card that's going to be extremely powerful. Now it's in Hunter, so it can't go in certain abusable other decks, but it's the kind of card that's going to build synergy. We'll find ways to use this, and it'll be very powerful. I've got some Werven cards, the ones that make eggs and different things like that. So this might give it its own type of version to the Brawler deck that we saw before. The one with, Brad's signature deck that makes the multiple creatures. As far as Arena goes, I still think this is fairly powerful as well. I'm still probably on... Oh, I forgot what the card was already that we had earlier. As the strongest all of all of them. But we're seeing some exciting cards. Dreadscale's an exciting card to pick early. I don't mind picking up a North Sea Kraken. Lets you orient your deck towards more of a later game. Let's bust another pack. We've got a million billion. I don't think we're going to get through all of them today. I think we might save some. Save some for Brad. All right, King's Defender. So we're seeing another weapon here. 3 for 3/2. So 2 uses across 3. That's decent. Costed a little high. Let's see what the other part is. Battlecry. If you have a minion with taunt, gain 1 of durability. That's an exciting synergistic ability. You can kind of hole up behind the taunt creature and gain 1 more attack out of it. 3 for the 3 attack and the 3 durability. It's quite a bit more as far as utility goes. It's usually a whole nother card. Still, I would just be happy even if I don't have cards with taunt. I'm still taking something like this early. Warhorse Trainer, Paladin. 3 for a 2/4. Serviceable. Your Silverhand recruits have a +1 attack. Remember, that's his ability to pay 2 mana crystals to get a 1/1. And now they're going to be 2/1s, which is quite a bit more powerful. It's a priority for your opponent to kill a card like this. And remember, if you already have several Silverhand recruits out already, your opponent's not really sort of prioritize killing them, you can drop this down and really push a lot of damage through fairly quickly. Or kill a lot of creatures that could come back and kill the Warhorse Trainer. Lock and Load. 2 for the Hunter. Each time you cast a spell this turn, add a random Hunter card to your hand. It's an interesting build-around card. You're wanting to play it later, obviously. You'd like to play... I think once you're at 3, you need to play 3 spells. You need to get 2 to 3 cards out of this for this to be really good. If you only play 1 and you get 1, you really didn't do a lot. You got a random card instead of a specific card, and that's not exciting. That said, it is still decent and serviceable. You're going to want cards that mostly are cheap so that you can string them together the turn you play the Lock and Load, because the random cards you get may or may not be affordable. Bone Guard Lieutenant, 2 for a 3/2. Inspire, gain 1 health. Now remember, Inspires whenever you use that ability, so anybody can do that. A powerful effect with Cleric, right? Getting multiple triggers of health for healing for things like the, I think, Northshire Cleric, which draws you a card, and other cards like that. And 2 for a 3/2 is completely serviceable. I would be happy with that. I still think King's Defender is the best of all these cards, but this is a strong pack. Merkla's Champion, 5 for a 4/3. That's not so exciting. But Inspire, give your other minions +1/+1. That's a fairly powerful effect. It's letting you essentially pump your whole team to push through damage. If you have 7 mana, you can play this and Inspire. That's not the most exciting at first, but often that can make you trade up. And with those favorable trades, the Merkla's Champion could survive another turn. 3 toughness is kind of worrisome, especially on a 5-costed creature. Let's bust another one. Just a drink. Dreadsteed. So we've got 4 for a 1/1. That's not really particularly powerful, but this ability, Death Rattle, summon a Dreadsteed. What this is telling us is we have basically infinite creatures as long as they're dying. Something, if we have a sacrifice outlet or something, it's going to be very powerful. This is probably the most abusable card we've seen. Maybe ever. I don't know if this card's going to stay around in this form. This is the kind of card you've got to worry about. It very easily goes infinite with other cards because each Dreadsteed summons another Dreadsteed, and it's not at the end of turn, it's immediately. I would look to start brewing around cards like this. And in Limited, this card's not nearly as powerful because you're not going to have the extreme synergies. But any synergies push you pretty far forward. You can attack repeatedly, but attacking for the one's not super strong. If you had a way to give it taunt repeatedly, then that would be a little bit better. I think in Arena it's a lot weaker, but in Constructed, this is probably not the kind of card they usually want to make. I would be surprised if we see this kind of stuff stick around. Oh, it's another Windwalker. Very solid. Ram Wrangler. 5 for a 3/3. We're expecting a good ability. If you have a beast, summon a random beast. So we're seeing a heavy beast theme in Hunter as we have before. This is a card that rewards you heavily. Almost every beast is going to make up for the other lack of, essentially, we're expecting another 2 points of power and 2 to 3 points of toughness at that point, maybe even more. But you usually get that out of a beast. They're pretty thick. The trick part here is you have to have the beast to get another beast. So again, this synergy-based deck, high ceiling, low floor. So not usually the kind of card I want to pick, but not a bad card to build around should there be enough density of synergistic abilities. Another Lock and Load. Living Roots, 1 for a Druid. Choose 1, deal 2 damage, or summon 2 1/1 Saplings. That's exciting. I like that. 1 for 2 1/1s is not terrible. And dealing the 2 damage immediately is good. So you can kill, if you wanted to kill a creature with just 2 toughness or 2 defense left, you could do it pretty well. But also having things that take advantage of multiple bodies makes this powerful as well. Powerful card too. So I really like Living Roots. I think it's an interesting design. Oh, Dreadsteed, you're so really overpowered. So the other thing I want to talk about is design here. Let's say that there's not any cards that are currently broken, and by broken I mean things that make the game insta-win or lock your opponent out or do something obscenely powerful, more powerful than the game designers would intend. Even if they don't have any of those right now, already kind of readily, easily available, they require 3 or 4 cards, so it's fine. There's a lot of cards they can't print because of that. You can't print a card that essentially says, destroy another creature, this creature deals 1 damage, because Dreadseed in that card instantly kill your opponent and everything else. So they end up having to go back, and they can alter, they can errata these cards, they can do that anytime. That's an advantage to an online game. But I think that's why cards like Dreadsteed are just too powerful. They're looking to break the game, and they will succeed at some point. Alright, bust the next one. See if we have anything else just as good as Dreadsteed. I don't think we will. Alright, another Totem Carver. It's an exciting card. Power Word Glory. Priest. Choose a minion. Whenever it attacks, restore 4 health to your hero. A decently strong effect. We could also see cards that kind of synergize with it to make it very powerful. At this point, I don't think it's good enough. It does mean that if your opponent has a card and it has 4 less power, that you gain life whenever it attacks, which is a nice little upside that you can use it to defensively, even in your synergy deck. I wouldn't play it outside of a synergy deck, though. Flame Juggler, that sounds exciting. 2 for a 2/3. Battle Cry, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Awesome. It's no Knife Juggler, but it's quite strong overall. And the fact that it's random means that you can't do too much for it, but if you play it early, you're limiting the selection because they have less cards. I think this is a super solid card. I'd be very happy to play this in Arena. I think I'll see some amount of constructed play with those stats, especially if there's X1 creatures, right? X attack, 1 toughness, or 1... Alright, another Living Roots, exciting. And another Murloc Knight. Alright, we're getting to the point where we're seeing some repeats in mass. What do we got up here? Frigid Snowballed. 4 for a 2/6. +1 spell damage. So this is another one of those points where, like, the amounts line up, right? If this was 4 for a 4/4 and plus spell damage, it'd be a lot more exciting. We already have that card. This is a 2/6, less exciting. Just, it's fine. It keeps your spell damage up pretty well, but it's just not really what you want to be paying 4 mana for something with 2 toughness and an ability that doesn't necessarily play too well with the 6 toughness. The 2 attack and stuff, sorry. Sparring Partner, 2 for a 3/2. Taunt. Battlecry, give a minion, taunt. That's exciting. I like this. 2 for the 3/2 taunt. Good. Giving another minion of your choice taunt. Excellent. I think this is one of the better cards we've seen that are cheap as well. I'd be very excited to have this kind of card in my arena deck because it lets me choose targets to give taunt to, and I can choose some very powerful taunt. Some very powerful cards to give taunt to with that. All right, 5 for a 5/6 Pit Fighter. Right, we see this kind of bland vanilla card, and it's telling us what's 5 mana crystals really worth. I think it's worth more than a 5/6 overall, but I would be happy to have a couple of these hanging around. I would rather pay more for less stats and stronger abilities, or more for a downside and more power, or yeah, more attack and defense. But you'll take what you can get. Another Snowballed Wrathguard, 2 for a 4/3 demon, expecting to downside whenever this minion takes damage. It also deals that amount to your hero. I still like it. I'm still going to play it. It's going to be a little bit rougher later, but 2 for a 4/3 is very strong. I think Wrathguard's the kind of card that shines. You don't want too many cards that are going to hurt yourself in the Warlock deck. If you can avoid it with your ability and the other kind of cards that hurt. But looking for ways to recoup that life makes cards like Wrathguard's downside a lot more palatable. Open 50 packs. Is it going to turn over? Oh. There we go. Injured Calvadier. 1 for a 2/4. Battlecry, deal 3 damage to this minion. So, there still has a total of 4 health. Healing it is the most obvious thing, but also using it with synergies that reward for damaged creatures is nice as well. So you're getting 1 for a 2/1 with synergies. I overall like that. In Arena, that's not particularly exciting, but it is serviceable. In Arena, you're not going to see too many things outside of Priest that can really take advantage of it, some of the Warrior cards, but there's a lot of different cards that have this Battlecry effect of dealing damage themselves, so when we get enough of them, the synergy-based deck of self-damaging creatures may become more prevalent. Refreshment Vendor. He's so hungry as way Walrus Tusks. I like that. Wrathguard. Tuskar Totemic. Here we go. Oh, this is 3 for the 3/2 to summon any random totem. I think that this is probably the best limited card we've seen, or arena cards we've seen so far. Another champion. Man, where's our epic? When are we going to get that? Or legendary? See some orange, some purple. We did see Death Rattle, which was a purple. Another injured Calvadier. Here we go. 3 for a 3/3. Dragonhawk Rider. Inspire. Gain Wind Fury this turn. That's a good card. Usually you pay an extra mana for a Wind Fury card like this. And it's all classes, so some classes can really take advantage of that, put a lot of pressure on. So like your mage can be clearing out creatures. I think this is pretty impressive. I like that. It's to be seen if Inspire is going to be an excellent ability or just a little too slow. Because remember, it does drain your mana to use the Inspire ability overall. So you've got to be a little bit careful with your curve. Oh, here we go. Paladin 6. Into the Colosseum. Flavorful. Destroy all minions except each player's highest attack minion. It's a great card. And remember, you can attack your minions into your opponent's minions so that you take all your low attack minions, attack them into their high attack minion. Now that they have an okay or not so good card, you cast your Into the Colosseum, you traded off all your creatures by attacking into their best creature, and now they just have one okay creature, or not even. You can get in situations where you use all of your creatures to kill, except for one. And, I mean, you wouldn't enter the Colosseum after that, but all your creatures to kill their big creature or important creatures. Another refreshment vendor. We have lots of refreshments here. Oh, in the 30s. Working our way down. Shadow Pan Rider for the rogue. Dark Panda. 5 for a 3/7. Not exciting. Combo. Gain 3 attack. So, at first blush, this card looks like it's not doing enough because you're paying at least 6 or 7 to get a 6/7. But the upside is when you have a coin. Or, as we saw with other cards, multiple coins. And then all of a sudden, you're on the 4th turn getting a 6/7. And it doesn't have a downside because you essentially paid your 5 mana and your coin for a card that works synergistically with that. I think with cards like coin, Shadow Pan Rider is going to be fairly strong. I wouldn't take it early. Paying 5 for the 3/7 is not horrendous. 3 is a good number. It does a lot of work, right? It's a lot better than 2. If this was combo gain 5, if I could have, or let's say this is a combo gain 8 and it was a 2/7. 8's probably high enough to be decent, but it was like 5 or something. If this became a 8/7 that had a base of 2 power instead of a 6/7, it would be a lot less exciting. The 3 power means a lot more than the potential to have even more power. So, as it stands, fairly strong. 3, Mage, Polymorph Boar. Transfer a minion into a 4/2 boar with charge. So, you're paying less for this Polymorph. That seems like the big upside to it. The other nice part is you can turn your worst creatures into better creatures. When you turn your opponent's creatures into the 4/2 boar with charge, they're not getting as much of an advantage either. So there's a lot going on with this card here. It can be used offensively or defensively, as opposed to the other Polymorph, which is strictly defensively for the most part. Or not defensively, strictly offensively. Yeah, defensively, killing your opponent's cards. This one can be used to get through more damage as well. Another Tuskar Totemic. There's a lot of walruses hanging around here. Oh, they're everywhere. Flame Lance. 5, deal 8 damage to a minion. It's okay. You're going to pick it up as removal when you're playing. I think this is the first really solid piece of removal we've seen. I don't consider the Polymorph Boar a really particularly effective removal card. That said, it is moderately overcosted. It's going to kill most things, though. It's nearly unconditional. Alright, what do we got here? Another Windwalker. Another Living Roots. Another Living Roots. Fearsome Doomguard, right? Our 6/8 buddy. Hey! 3 for a 2/5. Expecting good ability. All classes. Colosseum Manager. Colosseum Manager, yeah, that's nifty. Inspire, return this minion to your hand. So this at first looks kind of like a negative ability, and it can be. It can cut off your ability to use that, right? Paying 3 for the 2/5 is above total stats, but not much. It's essentially like 1 or 2 above, tops. Using the Inspire correctly, using it synergistically with cards that reward your playing cards, creatures entering the battlefield, those things will help. Also, the fact that you can attack, lose some amount of toughness, Inspire, return it to your hand, play it again later, or play it again that turn. Hey, we got another viewer. There's 2 buddies hanging out with us. Alright, let's see what else we got in here. We're just reviewing over through the Hearthstone Grand Tournament. We've seen a couple of cards. The one that's Dread's out so far has been Dreadsteed, 4 for a 1/1, and has Death Rattle. You get another Dreadsteed. An infinite amount of Dreadsteeds, in fact. 2, Demon Views. Give a demon +3/+3. Give your opponent a mana crystal. I like this card. It's a good, aggressive, oriented Warlock card, pushing that kind of aggressive demon deck that goes with it. You're not really worried about your opponent's resources as much because your cards are above average and above par. That said, you are spending 2 cards on a creature. You can get blown out. Your opponent can just kill your demon on the next turn, and you essentially gave them a mana crystal for 3 damage for a turn, which is not as exciting. Another refreshment vendor. Fallen Hero. 2, your power Your hero power deals 1 extra damage. Wow. Wow. That is a nice little card. 2 for a 3/2 is exciting, and dealing another extra damage is quite powerful. I'm surprised that this is only an uncommon. Or is that a rare? I can't remember the rarity system for this. 3 for the 5/2, our Ice Rager. Orgrimmar Aspirant. 3 for a 3/3. Good. Inspire, give your weapon +1 attack. Very good. So now we've got this pretty good package deal. That Inspire ability is fairly powerful as well. Now remember, you need to have the weapon out or play the weapon and Inspire the next turn, so it's not usually just immediately giving you 1 free weapon, but it's each time you do that. So you can, in theory, string together several Inspires or across different weapons, or a lot of Inspires on one single one. Wormrest Agent, right? Going in this dragon deck. Spellslinger. 3 for a 3/4. That's exciting. Battlecry. Add a random spell to each player's hand. Now, with Mage, you're going to be able to take advantage of this more. You're going to be able to build your deck around spells more. I think this card's an overall advantage card. I think it's a powerful card. One of the better cards we've seen overall. And you're not really worried about what your opponent's getting. You're worried more about how this card synergizes in your Mage deck. Maiden of the Lake. 4 for a 2/6. Your hero power costs 1 less. I like that. I like that a lot. That can be very strong. It goes well with the Inspire, right? Reducing the cost significantly, letting you multiple times do this. Some of the things that change your hero power can also become more powerful. Costing less can mean quite a bit. Another Pit Fighter. Silverhand Regent. Now, this does include in your other cards what said your Silverhand cards get +1 power. This is one of those as well. 3 for a 3/3. Summon a 1/1 Silverhand Recruit. That's fine. That's essentially 4 attack and 4 defense across 2 bodies for 3. I'm excited about that. That's one of the better cards too. All right. What do we got here? Warhorse Trainer. Oh, no, I was wrong. It was only the Silverhand Recruits that have +1 power or +1 attack. Still, that's doesn't make the card any worse. It does make the other Silverhand not really any worse, just slightly less synergistic overall. Another Clockwork Knight, another Murloc Knight. We got Knights, War Trainers. Oh, Master Jouster. 6 for a 5/6. Expecting an upside. Battlecry. Reveal a minion in your deck. Each player reveals a minion in a deck. If yours is more, it gains Taunt and Divine Shield. Wow, that's pretty exciting. 6 for a 5/6 Taunt and Divine Shield's solid. Another Evil Heckler. It's a great card. Not the best we've seen, but I think maybe still the best as far as Arena goes. Let's start down here. Tournament Attendee. 1 for 2/1 Taunt. Just not making it. Not making it in any way, really. I'll play it if I want to have 2 1s for 1. I don't usually. And having Taunt, anything will trade with it. So it's just not enough for my mana. Not enough for my card. It's enough for my mana. It's above on total mana cost. It's below on, do I want to spend a whole card on this card? Preferably not. Bone Guard Lieutenant. 2 for a 3/2. Inspire, gain 1 health. Again, that's fine. The most important thing here is that you have a 3/2 for 2. And that's fine. That's worth a card, right? And then we have North Sea Kraken over here, which we talked about before. It's definitely worth a card. It's just, will we get to play that card a lot? And that's the other side to the tournament attendee, right? A card I'd always get to play, but I'd really rather not pick a spot on just a 2/1 with Taunt, as opposed to a 9/7. When it does still 4 damage, it's a lot of power. It's a lot of attack, a lot of health, a strong ability. But how many games am I going to get to 9? And will it do enough by the time we're at 9 to make up for the fact of all the times I can't play it, we don't get to 9? Ram Wrangler. Lights Champion. 4 for a 4/3. That's pretty solid. And silence a demon. That's not always an upside. Some of the demons have negative effects, but some of the demons have positive effects. So it's mostly a wash there. Flavorful though. Solid too. 4, 4, 4, 3s. Good. What do we have busting up next? Another Tuskar Totemic. The 3 for the 3/2. I really still like that guy. The randomness is fine on a body that I'm fairly happy to play. Alright. Spawn of Shadows for the Priest. 4 for a 5/4. I'm happy with this. Inspire. Deal 4 damage to each hero. I'm very happy with this because the Priest has the ability to heal themselves. So essentially, you can just pay 2, gain 2. Each player takes 4. So your opponent took 4, and you took 2 essentially. And you know, when you heal your creatures, you're both going to take 4. Sometimes this ability is going to be prohibitive. But remember that the heal goes on before this ability. So this ability will trigger after you've already healed. If you're at 6 life, you can heal up to 8, and then you'll both go down to 4. Or if you're at 4 life, you'll heal up to 6, you go both down to 2, or you go down to 2. So a fairly powerful ability there. Another Merkula's Champion. More Totemics. Here we go. Dalaran Aspirant. 4 for a 3/5. Decent stats. Inspire. Gain spell damage +1. Alright. So I have to check with Inspire to see if it stacks or not. Or if it's just the first time. Because if that stacks, that's a very, very powerful ability. Alright. Let's see what's in our next one. Void Crusher. 6 for a 5/4. Demon. Inspire. Destroy a random minion for each player. If you have a lot of minions, you're less likely to destroy your Void Crusher, but the fact that you can lose him is very scary. I do not like this type of card. If it just said destroy another random minion from each player, or some sort of wording that excluded the Void Crusher, I'd be excited about it. But with the wording as is, it's just not reliable enough to be a card I'd want in my deck. Now, yay! Some orange in here. Idis Darkbane. 3 for a 3/4. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. This is exciting. This is the kind of card you can go all in and play a bunch of cards that kind of target it or do other things with it in a whole deck, and it goes in a very aggressive deck or a combo-centric deck for that. 3 damage to random enemies, a powerful effect, even if your cards aren't particularly good as far as the effect goes. 3 damage is worth a whole card. Now, to the random enemy is a little less exciting, but it's a free ability that you're tacking onto those cards you're already building in your deck. I'd be excited to play this in my arena deck too. If I wasn't choosing it over legendaries that would fit into the deck better, and epics, then I would pick this one because your opponent has to think that you could have it, right? You have the threat of activation. What this means is, let's say you're staring down an opponent and they've got this Idis Darkbane sitting there. And you've got a creature with 3 health, 5 health, 2 health, and 6 health. And they've got a grip of cards. You are heavily incentivized to kill that Idis Darkbane in any way that you can, because if they are allowed to have their next turn, they could play a series of spells to kill your guys, right? You're just 1 or 2 or 3. If they play 2 different spells or a spell that does another spell, they can quickly make this card either better, more powerful, kill your other creatures, while simultaneously dealing that 3 damage over multiple ones of your other creatures. A Flame Lance. Another Jouster. Gadget Zan. Savage Combatant. 4 for a 5/4. I'm digging it. It's a beast. Inspire. Give your hero +2 attack this turn. Alright. That works fairly well with the Druid. Wow. There you go. You can really get in there with that guy. He's offering a lot of power. That's a extremely strong card. Spawn of Shadows. Now in gold. Fearsome Doomguard. Flame Juggler.
730.
Arcane Blast. 1 for a mage card. Deal 2 damage to a minion. This spell gets double bonus from spell damage. That's exciting. You can put this in a lot of different decks. You can put this in your mage deck that has some amount of spell damage or heavy spell damage theme, and it can easily start killing bigger stuff, right? If you have 1 spell damage instant, it deals 4 damage. If you have 2 spell damage instants, I think each one doubles. I don't think it's multiplicative. I think it's additive. But then that's 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's 6. That's a card that we normally pay 4 for. So, overall, I think this is an extremely good card. Any of you don't have that many spell damage effects in Arena, you're going to play cards like this to help kind of clear out the board early. Lance Carrier, 2 for a 1/2. Battle Cry, give a friendly minion plus 2 attack. Now, we've seen the opposite of this. +1/+1 giving 1 the 2 attack, I think is slightly worse than a +1/+1, but overall, a decent card. I don't like that it's a 1/2, however. That's a little bit too weak for my taste. I don't want to spend a card for the potential of 3 attack across multiple bodies, because sometimes I don't have other bodies. And alright, what do we got in here? A Refreshment Vendor, a Demon Fuse, Frost Giant, 10, 8/8, all classes. We got it's nice and purple. It's nice and rare. Costs 1 less for each time you used your hero power this game. That's strong. It plays well with Infuse. It plays well just in a regular deck that's using that ability. As the game goes along, many times this is going to cost 3 or 4. Letting you play their spells. I think on average you'll be playing this on for 7 or 8. But you can hold it if you have other things to do and just let it kind of tick down until you want to play this in another spell as well. Silverhand Regent, very solid. I think I like that better than the Totemic Guide too. Fist of Jarox, 4. When you play or discard this, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. So the trick is, it doesn't say because of your opponent, it's any discard. So if you have random discard or controlled discard effects, it's a free spell. I think this is one of the more powerful cards. Now, you are paying 4 to deal 4 random, so the goal is more than anything else to find ways to abuse this, to make yourself discard this to get that effect. Alright. I think we're going to go down to 25, and then I'm going to go over the actual list of anything we missed and kind of just talk about those. An Evil Heckler. A Mouse to Jousta. Lowly Squire. 1, Inspire, gain 1 attack, 1/2. Not enough. Right? I mean, the first turn you can play the Lowly Squire. Then you can use your ability and it becomes a 2/2. And then you're like, wow, that's an okay card, Daniel. I mean, turn 2 I gained this. But the cost was I had to use my ability turn 2. What if I had a better card for 2? What if I had 2 1/1s I wanted to play? What if I had other cards I want to play? So I'm essentially skipping my turn in some amount of effects to make this card playable. I don't think it's the worst card. I don't think it's the kind of card I want to play. Another Gadget Zan Jouster. I will be interested to see if we have a card that lets us use our hero ability more than once with this Inspire set. That would make me excited. Silent Knight, 3 for a 2/2. Stealth Divine Shield. It does the attacking you want, the defense you want, right? You can play this card in the next turn if you need to have a creature up with the Divine Shield. You can attack in, it comes back around, and all that kind of stuff. Resilient. Although not particularly exciting either. Alright, just a couple more packs and we'll save the rest. Brad will be excited to see some packs when he gets back home. Alright. Darnasius Aspirant. Battle Cry. Gain an empty mana crystal. Death Rattle. Lose a mana crystal. Oh. That's kind of cool. Kind of risky, but good. And especially when you play it early, 2 for a 2/3, your opponent's kind of priced into killing it. Otherwise, you gotta free mana crystal, because 2 for a 2/3 is fine. I do like it better as 2 for a 2/3 than a 3/2 as well. Living Roots, Wrathguard, Wildwalker, Captured, Jormungar, 7 for a 5/9 beast. Wow, that's not really what I want to play for 7, but there's a lot of health. It's usually going to kill 2 things, which is nice. There's not a lot of cards that are going to trade just 1 for 1 with that. All right. What are we busting into now? Flame Lance. Holy Champion, 4 for a 3/5. Whenever a character is healed, gain 2 attack. That's good. On turn 4, it's a 3/5, which is fine, and the next turn you're going to come around, and usually you can heal yourself and gain the 2 attack. It's putting at 5. On turn 6, it's just coming out as a 5/5 when you're healing for 2, and subsequent turns it lives, it gets bigger and bigger. This is a priority to kill, and it's the kind of card that since you're a priest, you can heal it to keep pushing. Now, it doesn't gain the health whenever the itself is killed, because I think character I don't know. I don't know if character has to do with just the heroes or if it has to do with the creatures themselves. Well, I'll have to check on that. Sometimes Hearthstone's kind of vague on that. You have to test it out. If it's anything is healed, then this is extremely strong. If it's just another player, it's still fairly strong. Totemics, a Colosseum Manager, a Flame Juggler. How about we see one more legendary or epic before we get out of here? Or rare, at least. Demon Fuse, Lowly Squire, Effigy. So we got our uncommon. 3, Mage, Secret. Whenever a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion with the same cost. I like how it's controllable. It's not something I want to play too terribly early with small creatures on the battlefield. But because if your opponent can attack into them, they can make sure that you're not getting a lot of value. Getting another 1 or 2 cast cards out of 3 is not worth it. You really want to be somewhere around 5 or 6 for the randomness to kind of factor out a little bit as well. Tournament Medic, 4 for a 1/8. Inspire, restore 2 health to your hero. This lacks taunt. This is what needs taunt for it to be okay. The multiple inspires would help get you ahead, but here you're just looking at a card that's not exciting, and I wouldn't want to pay any amount of mana for a 1/8 because they'll mostly just ignore it, and I'll chip away at other people, but they'll chip away faster at this 8 health. Another Doom Guard. Alright, this will be it for the minute, and then we will pop over to the actual list. It's the busted backs. Wrathguard. Warhorse Trainer. Oh, it's just a Totem Carver. Pit Fighter. Last chance. Alright, let's go ahead and pull these over here. Alright. Let's refresh this. And whoop. Alright. Confessor Peltris, 7 for a 5/4. Inspire, summon a random legendary minion. That's pretty exciting. That said, 7 for a 5/4 actually isn't that exciting. I don't think this card's actually overall very good, even though it is kind of the Inspire mainstay, kind of the flagship. It's really not doing as much as it looks. You've got to pay 9, and then you're just getting a random legendary. They're not always synergistic. Some of them can be bad in your deck, depending on what they do. It's not the kind of card I want to be playing. I don't even think it's the best Inspire card we've seen. Dark Bargain, 6. Destroy 2 random enemy minions. Discard 2 random cards. So if you can put that with other strong, powerful discard effects, you're getting a good bang for your buck. Playing this late is good too. If this is the last or second to last card in your hand, it is destroying multiple minions, especially if you've dealt with their smaller ones. You can get rid of 2 problematic things. Still, it's just good, not terribly exciting. Undercity Valiant, we've seen. Dreadscale, it's back. Acid 7 for a 4/2. Whenever another minion takes damage, destroy it. That's exciting. especially with things like Dreadscale. Oh, look, these guys are buddies. They even look like each other because they go together. That said, 7 for a 4/2 versus 3 for a 4/2 is a pretty big difference. This isn't the kind of card that I want to usually be playing because it requires a lot of work on my end. And that includes your creatures. So often this card's going to come down and your opponent's going to kill it quickly. The Ogmar Aspirant, we've seen before. Chill Maul, 7 for a 6/6. Taunt. 7 for a 6/6 Taunt is already looking good, especially since we have a Death Rattle. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all minions. It's going in the dragon deck. It's not the best Death Rattle, but it can be powerfully used. It'll usually trade with whatever your opponent played because they're, in theory, taking 9 health. And putting you in a fairly good position, too, because if you're playing on the dragons, you probably have a decent amount of cards and creatures with health as well. Convert to put a copy of an enemy minion into your hand. Remember, you're spending 2 extra to get that. Now you get to choose the minion, so this is fairly powerful. But this isn't a 2 costing card. It's 2 plus the cost of your opponent's card. Now that changes along the scale, but often you're not getting a good value from that, right? If your opponent plays, so you play this, it's turn 6. You have the 6 mana crystals, and you copy your opponent's 4 they played a couple turns ago. Well, you're getting a 4 on turn 6. The selectiveness doesn't make this card decent, but it's not excellent. Sideshow Spell Eater, 6 for a 6/5. Battlecry, copy your opponent's hero power. Your opponent's power is usually built around their deck. So the fact that you're having to use their power is usually not as good. Some cards in certain classes line up better with other powers and all that, etc., but the randomness is just not there. Fencing Coach, 3 for a 2/3. I'm okay with this. It's better to have a decent ability, though. We really want to play it. Battlecry, the next time you use your hero power, it costs 2 less. Okay? That's essentially a free hero power with it, which is pushing it into fairly aggressive territory. Cavildeator Raider, 5 for 4/4. Below average. Not exciting. I'm expecting a little bit more. Inspire, gain +2/+2. Well, that'll do it-ish. It's still not really above cost. But, again, being able to string it along does mean that it'll be okay, but you're having to use that Inspire over and over. Knight of the Wild, 7 for a 6/6. Whenever you summon a beast, reduce the cost of this card by 1. That's fine. Over the course of the game, it can become quite cheap to play something like this. Having a free or nearly free 6/6 is fine. In a mostly beast deck, if this is early on, then you can get this down to 4 or 5 pretty regularly. And remember, you can, on the turn you're going to play it, play the beast and then this to reduce the cost correctly, right? So if this would cost 5 and you have 5 mana and a 1 mana beast, you can play both. Essentially get another mana out of this. Competitive Spirit, 1. Secret, when your turn starts, give your minions +1/+1. That's not good enough. A Murloc Knight, the Dalaran Aspirant, Arse Rager, Mulch, destroy a minion. Add a random minion to your opponent's hand. If you're killing big cards, this is good, but you've got to be killing really big cards. Because there's a lot of not nearly as good cards. You're killing your opponent's legendary, they're likely not to get that good of a card. If you're killing their small cards, if this is going in an aggressive deck, now things are getting a little dicey. Your opponent can get upgraded a lot easier when you're destroying bad cards. Just, you want the card you destroy to be below or above average rather than below. King's Elec, 2 for a 3/2. Battlecry, reveal a minion in each deck. If your minion costs more, draw it. Wow. Okay. This is an interesting one, because if you're playing a deck that depends on revealing your high-costed card, unless you have multiples of it, you're actually not getting that great of a deal, and you're getting a card you're going to cast much, much later. I do like this card if you're playing around Dragons Matters cards, because the dragons will usually cost quite a bit. But I really like the design on this. Very elegant, very tricky. Saboteur, 3 for a 4/3. Battlecry, your opponent's hero power costs 5 more next turn. The Inspire kind of feeling vein. This does slow your opponent's Inspires down. 3 for 4/3 is also fine. This is just a fine card. 4 for 5/3. Magnetor Alpha. So we've got this Scimitar kind of giant horned beast thing. Also damages the minions next to whoever he attacks. Wow, that's really good. Now, I'd have to actually play this to know if your opponent's creatures damage it back, but I would assume not, which will make this quite powerful. If it does damage it back, it still can trade 3 cards for 1, which is also a fine effect. Shady Dealer, 3 for a 4/3. Battlecry, if you have a pirate, gain +1/+1. I like 3 for a 4/3. I like 3 for a 5/4 quite a bit more. Solid. They're really pushing Rogue with these strong cards, these strong pirate and combo interactions. 2 for 3/2. Tiny Knight of Evil. That's adorable. Whenever you discard a card, gain +1/+1. That's also quite good. The synergistic aggressive demon deck with discard sub-themes is looking to get a boost. Fighter Recruiter, 5 for a 5/4. Inspire, add a 2/2 Squire to your hand. Not sure what the cost is going to be on this, whether it's 1 or 2, but that's fine. You're essentially getting more bodies. I'm sure in testing at one point it just put a 2/2 into play, but that was potentially too strong, especially with a deck kind of focused on the Inspire. But getting a swarm of cards in hand can be good, and sometimes, you know, you can work it in your deck to have more synergy by casting the creature, playing the creature, than just having it come into the play directly. You control the timing a little bit more. Alright, we got a dragon. 4 for a 2/6, Twilight Guardian, Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt. So a 3/6 taunt for 4 is somewhere you're looking, and it does have the dragon type. So that counts for quite a bit too in your dragon deck, being able to play early dragons into later dragons. Hold down your dragon for it. Oh, it's the snowball. Let's keep going. 3. Break the grounds. Beneath the ground, sorry. Shuffle 3 ambushes into your opponent's deck. When drawn, you summon a 4/4 Nerubian. If you're going really long, this is okay. But remember, you are paying 3 to gain no early effects. This is not the kind of card I want to play or want to do anything with. If I had some way to, like, repeatedly play it from my discard pile and several times, I'm jumping into a lot of hoops just to get a couple 4/4s. I think overall it's just not that great, but players will try it. I don't think it's actually a serviceable card. Sparring Partner. Excellent card, by the way. Just really there. Dragonhawk Rider. Refreshment Vendor. Shadow Fiend. 3 for a 3/3. Whenever you draw a card, reduce its cost by 1. I like that. It's good. The 3 for a 3/3 is good. Reducing the cost by 1 means often you can string together spells quicker, or play cards you normally couldn't cast earlier, obviously. Your opponent's going to put a high priority on this card as well. Stablemaster, 3 for a 4/2. Battlecry, give a friendly beast immune this turn. Wow, well, that's quite a bit of a... It's quite the effect. That can let you get through quite a bit more damage early, too. Void Crusher, Power Word Glory. The Mistcaller, 6 for a 4/4. Battlecry, give all minions in your hand and your deck +1/+1. Interesting. So, this is, first of all, let's evaluate the card. It doesn't give the cards in play +1/+1. It's hand and deck. So it's all future cards will be better. And at your 6/4, you're thinking, well, how many more cards am I going to have? The answer is the rest in your deck. So that's exciting. It's exciting to get him out early. 6 for a 4/4 doesn't seem that great, but he's more about going into the long game. His legendary is coming out, and then you're playing many, many more cards. Now, on the design side, and the cool part to essentially online or computer-based games, is on paper-based games, this effect would be very hard to do. Giving all of your future minions +1/+1 that are in your hand and your deck would be clunky, awkward, and a lot of weird bookkeeping and memorizing which cards, if you have multiple copies, etc., etc. But online, it's smooth. You just put the correct coding in, and the game does it automatically for you. So you have new design space in online mechanics that just can't exist in physical form, or it can't exist elegantly. Seal of Champions. 3. Give a minion 3 attack and Divine Shield. Yeah, that's serviceable. You're usually going to be able to trade this card. You play this card on your 2 or 3. You attack, kill your opponent's card, and the Divine Shield's still there. You're usually up a card. That Divine Shield just means so much. I like that. Polymorph Boar. Both Ram Shield. The guy's ready to burly attack. Or defend in this case, because he's 6 for a 3/9. Whenever your hero takes damage, this minion takes it instead. So if you have a way to heal it, it's going to do a lot more. It's going to protect you. You don't even have to give it taunt, because your opponent's going to be going in, and any damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to it instead. If you have a way to heal it or make its health higher, it's a hard thing to get through. That said, that ability is worse than taunt for the most part. It does shine against direct damage and stuff, but your opponent can just attack you, and then this doesn't deal any damage to that creature. The Joe Marker Buccaneer. I like you, Buccaneer. Arcane Blasts. Oh, we're just going right through it here. Oh, 6 for an 8/5. Mogar's Champion. 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. At 6 mana, that's just too much. I can't get underneath my opponent's cards. There's too many situations as the game goes longer where that ability becomes more and more problematic. The best one is the 3 mana 4/4 with that ability. The rest are just fading away into this spot where I don't want to be at. Elemental Destruction. 3. Deal 4 to 5 damage to all minions. Overload 5. So you're going to be skipping usually your next turn, but dealing 4 to 5 damage usually will set you up in a position to be catching back up. And if you have any kind of spell damage increasing things, it'll put you in a very solid spot. I think this is a good card. Mysterious Challenger. 6 for a 6/6. Battlecry. Put 1 of each secret from your deck onto the battlefield. Here's a card I'm excited about. Secrets are not normally good enough on their own, but when I can get several secrets, so let's say I'm running a total of 4 secrets on my deck, I've probably drawn and played 1 or 2 by the time I play him, but he'll pull the rest out, and my opponent doesn't know what they are. And it's hard to play around multiple secrets together. You can string together some powerful secrets when you're getting multiples out. I think this is the first card I've seen with secrets that I actually like. Not a big fan of secrets. They're awkwardly conditional. Power Shot. Deal 2 damage to a minion, and the minion's next to it for 3 mana. So, potentially killing 3 cards for 3 mana. That's exciting. This is a pretty good card. I think Power Shot's one of the better direct damage cards we've seen in a while, too. Evil Heckler. Ronin. 8 for 7/7. Death Rattle. Add 3 copy of Arcane Missiles to your hand. That's exciting. That's a lot more damage to throw around. This is the kind of legendary that's really going to reward you for playing it. It lets you play all those spells afterwards. So in your Spells Matters deck, you just got 3 more spells to cast. It's hard to say if it's necessarily worth it, though. But if you have some way to clear the board before you play, that is quite a bit of damage to your opponent. The Ram Wrangler. Light's Champion. Skycap and Crag. I like Skycap and Crag. Oh, he's got Charge. That's really cute. 7 for a 4/6. They cost 1 less for each friendly pirate. This is just great. I really like the flavor on this card. The power of it's okay. Once it gets down to 5 mana, it's serviceable. At 4 mana, it's great, but you don't really have it. So I think it's slightly overcosted for all the effects. But Charge is just really, really nice. And the Joust, look at the lance. You see this sweet kind of hook lance. Skycap and Crag is my favorite card I've seen flavor-wise, and I think maybe my favorite card's just overall on that. And it's not a good card, but it's a fun card. Now I want some Captain Crunch. Tear my mouth up. Alright. Vyrian Wern. 10 for a 7/7. I'm expecting something. Draw 3 cards. Put any minions you drew directly into the battlefield. Delivered. Pay 10. Put 2 to 3 minions into play. It's usually what you're getting here. That's great. I think this is one of the best legendaries we've seen. It's not on the really crazy abusable scale because you are paying 10 for it, but if you have ways to kind of get it out sooner, and get that battle cry effect, it's going to be quite strong. If you have ways to return it to your hand and play it again, it's quite strong. You're always drawing 3 cards, and you're usually putting 2 to 3 minions into play again. Healing Wave. Ice Howl. 9 for 10/10, can't attack heroes, charge. Interesting card. A card I want to give taunt to. A card that's going to kill all my opponent's stuff without killing my opponent. I do think it's good. Do think it's powerful. It'll let you kill your opponent's creatures so that you can keep your other creatures to kind of deal the damage and finish the game off. It's going to usually kill something immediately. And your opponent's not that likely to attack it because it can't attack back into your opponent. So, I don't know that many decks I'd want to put it into play with that cost, because it's usually just killing 2 minions. But it is killing any 2 minions you want. Or the first one. Cut Purse! This card's exciting. Sea Plunder, 6 for 6/7. When you draw this card, deal 1 damage to all of your minions. Oh, when you draw this card, deal 1 damage to all of your minions. 6 for 6/7. So you've got this is a synergy-based card. Sea Plunder, 6 for 6/7 is not exciting. You want cards that kind of do things with it. Now, this is a free effect. This looks like a bad free effect at first, but when we think about the Grim Brawler deck that we've seen, the Grim Patron Brawl deck that we've seen before, this card becomes exciting, right? You're getting a free effect on it. It's going to go in this deck. This kind of soups up that deck even more. You don't control the timing on it quite as well, so there's some tricky parts to it. But I think overall, if you build your deck right, that is an advantage, not a disadvantage. Totem Golem. Wait, I haven't seen Totem Golem. Oh, it's a totem! It's got Overload 1. 2 for 3/4. That's good. Right, you can play the Totem Golem, and the next one you can play another Totem Golem if you like. They go well in multiples, and they're just real thick. I'm down for that. Right? Also, you can play the Totem Golem. You lose the 1. The next turn you make a totem on cue with your Shaman deck. So it's not like you're totally out. You can always go Totem Golem, make a thing. Later on in the game, it's still fairly relevant because the 3/4 is fairly strong. Dreadsteed. The brokenest card I've seen made in this game so far. It's just killing me that it's 4 mana to make a card that synergizes so well with so many things. I'm not going to put the time in to figure out where this card breaks things in half. It might not yet. There might not be the cards out yet that are needed. But it's on its way, Dreadsteed. Look forward to the word change in that and brew while you can. Landspear, Astral Communion, 4. Gain 10 mana crystals. Discard your hand. In an expensive-based deck, this is a powerful card. If you can throw out a lot of your cards early, this is a powerful card. This is the kind of card that I would like to have several of with a very powerful oriented deck. Mind controls other 10 mana cost of things. Because if you can ramp up to this and play it early and then other cards with it, it's going to reward you. It seems like a big sacrifice because you're losing so many cards, but you're gaining so much tempo. You're gaining at least 5 on the tempo scale, right? You're going from your 5th mana crystal, that'll be the one you would have next turn, all the way you're gaining 5 more. You're doubling it up, essentially, for all intents and purposes. Hard to say exactly how all this fits in together, but I expect Astral Communion to be one of the more powerful cards we see. Alexstrazia's Champion, 2 for a 2/3. Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain 1 attack and charge. 3/3 charge for 2. Ooh, this card's pushed. There's not that many good dragons and warriors, but you can use the neutral dragons as well. And just 2 for the 2/3 is fine too. This is the card that's pushing towards the constructed suite. Charged Hammer. 2 attack for durability. Death Rattle. Your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. Oh. Wow. That's a good little Death Rattle ability. The Fists of Jark, right? We see the random discard kind of a theme. Warhorse Trainer. Flash Heal. 1, restore 5 health. This is the kind of card you don't want to play. 1 for 5 health seems fine when you need it, but most games you don't need that. Now, you can heal your own cards to help with the durability and etc. etc. It's just I don't want to have cards that aren't very good in a lot of situations where my opponent can kill my cards before I get to go back and flash heal them. Where my opponent can go ahead and when I need a creature down to help trade cards, and now I'm drawing things like flash heal and my opponent's putting another creature on the board and I'm healing 5 life, and sure, it bought me a turn, but what it really bought me was my opponent drawing another creature and I needed to have a creature down, not to wait another turn to have another creature to kill. Living Roots, confused too. Swap the attack and health of all minions. It can be abusable. You just have to build a deck around it. It's fine. You need to build the deck around it by first, though. Grand Crusader, 6 for 5/5. Paladin, Battle Cry, add a random Paladin card to your hand. I like that. A lot of the Paladins have been pretty good. Or a lot of the Paladin cards are pretty good. Paying 6 for a 5/5 is slightly underrated, but getting another card with it, and only one of a select few cards, is fairly powerful. Avenia, 9, 5/5. Your minions cost 1 less. It's just not there. This isn't enough effect for 9 mana. They're trying to be careful with making things cost less. That can make cards really very, very strong. You can get in positions where things go infinite because of that. But this is the other side of the Death Steed we saw, where it was just too powerful. This card's not doing enough. Even if there's a chance for the game to be quote-unquote broken, for this card to be overpowered, it costs 9. So it's not like we're going to be able to do a lot that turn of. It's got to survive a turn with 5 health. That's not very much. This card's just not there. Anu Barak, 9 for an 8/4. Death Rattle, return this to your hand and summon a 4/4 Nubrian. Hey, that's cool. You can play it over and over, it holds on the ground, it builds 4/4s, you can attack in, trade with one of your opponent's creatures, you get a creature of your own, and then you get to play this again. So every other turn, or every turn, you're getting an 8/4, trades with one of their creatures, you get a 4/4. Building up this army, having a lot of power. I think that's a kind of card that's kind of legendary I want to go in on. Kind of epic. The Skeleton Knight, 6 for a 7/4. Death Rattle, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, return this to your hand. It is much more affordable, and a 7/4 for 6 is more impressive than 9 for an 8/4, but this just really pales in comparison. It's just not really doing what I want to at that point. I wouldn't mind running it, but there's not even enough consistency to know that you're going to get that ability. Grobok the Impaler, 4 for a 4/4. Fine on rate. Battle Cry, if you have at least 4 other minions, deal 4 damage. Serviceable. Early, it's 4 for a 4/4. That's fine. Later, it's a 4/4 that deals 4. That's also fairly strong. The fact that it costs 4 on turn 8 or 9 means that you can play a creature and then play it, getting closer to that total 4. Edric the Pure, 7 for a 3/5. Battle Cry. Change all minions, enemy minions attack to 1. Hey, that's a good card. That seems like 7 for a 3/7 needs a big effect. That's a big effect. It's stunting your opponent completely. Now Edric's 7 health is going to go a long way. That requires 7 attacks. Or new creatures, which, it's doable too. But it lets you really put the pressure on your opponent to rebuild their army. It resets them. It gives you a lot of defensive power. Coldra Drake, 6 for 6/6. You can use your hero power any number of times. I was right! Inspired did have some ability that let us use it more. I just didn't expect it to be any number of times. That's very powerful. This is the kind of card that goes in your Inspire deck and lets you push it from just fine to overpowering. And the cards that make your hero ability cost 1 less will let you push forward into positions where you could use your hero power for free any number of times, which is terrifying. So this card will let you do game breaks, which is cool. We'll see if it's strong enough and constructed overall, but 6 for 6/6 is also not an eligible ability. Tuskar Jouster, 5 for a 5/5. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, restore 7 health to your hero. Sure. I like the Happy Turtle, though. Turtle Walrus combo. Master Jouster. Yeah, this card. Burgle. That is a happy little burglar. Guy looks like the McBurglar from the Ronald McDonald things. I think that's the kind of look they were going with, though. 3. Add 2 random class cards to your hand from your opponent's class. Serviceable. Class cards can often be synergistic based, so it's not always going to be great, but it's usually going to be fine. I think I would prefer taking 2 random cards from their deck than 2 random cards from their class. Armored Warhorse, 4 for a 5/3. Battlecry. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, charge. Fine. Not amazing, but with the beast and the charge potential, it can throw down pretty well. The 3 toughness does mean it's going to trade for a lot of cards you'd rather not trade for. The Jouster. Argent Lance. 2 for a 2 attack, 2 durability card. Battlecry. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, +1 durability. Serviceable. Not excellent, but fine. Bolster. Give your taunt minions +2/+2. So this is the kind of card you're not usually looking to play at all in Arena, but you can kind of build a powerful deck around it and construct it. Giving just 2 creatures, giving 1 taunt creature +2/+2 is fine. Once you get 2 or 3, you're really getting a lot of value out of this card. Ancestral Knowledge, we've talked about. The Champion. Bash 3. Deal 3 damage, gain 3 armor. It's a good card for racing. I like it. It does enough damage for me to usually find it adequate. It's quite a bit of swing overall. A solid card. Brave Hunter, 1 for a 2/1. Inspire. If your hand is empty, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. This is a cool card. 1 for 2/1. Early is fine, but not great. And we talk a lot about the 2/1's not good enough, the 2/1 for 1's not good enough, the 2/1 for 1's not good enough, and that's true. But when your ability later is doing extra damage each time, it's tacking on 2 damage to the enemy hero, this card becomes better later. This card's actually worse in the middle of the game. At the beginning of the game, a 2/1 for 1 is fine. The problem is, let's say it's later in the game, and I draw this card off the top, that's not exciting. But the ability of dealing another 2 damage whenever I use my ability, which I'm doing, you know, I draw this card at the end of the game, I've got 8 or 9 mana crystals. I'm playing a low impact card. I'm also getting an effect with it. And they need to answer my 2/1 now, which they probably will. But that's fine because they have to spend an attack doing the attack, not going to me or to another creature, etc., etc. So it's doing quite a bit early, quite a bit late. I think this is one of the few 2/1s that I actually am kind of digging. Druid of the Saber, 1 for 2. Charge or +1/+1 stealth. Good. When I need 2 damage immediately, when I need to kill a creature immediately, it can do that. When I need stealth, when I need a 3/2 charge for 2, that's a fine card. A 2/1 stealth for 2, that's an okay card. But the fact that I could choose which one I want of the 2 makes it a fairly powerful card overall. Card favorite, 4/4/4/4. Whenever you play a card with Battlecry, gain +1/+1. Solid all around. You don't need much of that many battle card cards for this card to really shine. Master of Ceremonies, 3 for a 4/3. Battlecry. If you have a minion with spell damage, gain +2/+2. So you can get 3 for a 6/4, 3 for a 4/2. Both of those are okay. Obviously, the 6/4 is preferred, but it's a little odd in your spell damage decks. You're not playing too terribly many creatures, but this is a creature worth putting in that deck. Oh, Pandas, Wrathguard. I've gone through most of these cards. The Demon Fire, Argent Watchman, 2 for a 2/4. Can't attack. Inspire, can attack as normal this turn. It's good to no-go. I don't want to have to use my ability just to be able to attack with this card. If it was a 2/4 with Taunt, we'd be in a position for me to consider it and we'd be fine. But the fact that I have to use Inspire every turn to make this card even anything on my battlefield, you're probably not using your abilities enough. You're better off just playing a 2/3. Silent Night. You can sing Silent Night, Holy Night, the song, and you're referencing that Silent Night right there. Flora Lightbane, 3 for a 3/4. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain Divine Shield. Hey, it's another one of those cards that you can play and target over and over, and your opponent will be forever behind because it has Divine Shield. You play your spell, you attack with your Divine Shield card, you play another spell, and in every spell after that, you're essentially getting to throw 3 damage wherever you want for free. This is very strong. Your opponent normally has to throw 2 creatures in just to kill it. Down. Edith's Darkbane, Flora Lightbane, Light and Darkbane. Here we go. These ladies are just getting in there. Clockwork Lightbane, no, not really. Clockwork Knight, we talked about before. Savage Combatant. Man, that's some Lion King looking stuff, though, really. It's really human-y looking. But, again, this card is actually fairly strong. On 4, it's a 5/4 that they're going to want to kill. And on 6, it's letting you get another 2 damage with your Druid as well. Flame Juggler, the Managers, turn a Medic. Wilford Fizzlebang, 6 for a 4/4. Cards you draw from your hero power cost 0. That's really good. So if you can play him on 8, you get to play him and then immediately play another card. And if they don't kill him, you're going to be playing another card per turn, which is really strong. I think this is one of the more exciting kind of building around cards overall, especially out of Warlock. They don't usually get this kind of very powerful kind of card advantage engine. Usually Warlock is constrained on how much mana crystals they have, and the fact that you can play something for free, another card for free every turn, is really good. This is the kind of card I want to put Stealth on and just sit there drawing an extra card a turn. And not just drawing and free casting an extra card a turn. You're spending 2 to cast the top card off your library or off your deck. That's some real stuff. Holy Champion, Defender, 6 for 6/3, Justicar Trueheart. Battle card, replace your starting hero power with a better one. It's the upgraded ones. And here are the upgraded ones. Heal does 4. Equips a 2/2 weapon. Summons a totem of your choice. Summoning a totem of your choice is very strong. Soul tap, draw a card. I think that's one that has the biggest or the smallest sort of like upgrade. It is good that later on in the game you will have less life, so that'll matter, but often that deck is just made to gain life to compensate. Tank up is 4. Dire Shapeshift is 2 attack and 2 armor. Maybe it's Fire Blast, or not Fire Blast, Rage 2. Ballista Shot only does 1 extra damage. So probably Ballista Shot or Soul Tap gain the least from this. But things like Fire Blast rank 2, Silver Hand, like that's a lot. A whole lot of extra power. Like just doubling that one thing. Poison Blade, 4 for 1/3. Your hero power gives this weapon +1 attack instead of replacing it. So you just repeatedly use that over each turn, and it goes 1 to 2 to 3, and each use kind of goes with it as well. Also, you can just keep stacking it if you don't have something better to kill. You're usually just going to use your hero ability and then attack, hero ability attack with the hero ability attack, but you can stack it if you need to. Make it as large as you'd like. Garrison Commander, 2 for 2/2. You can use your hero power twice a turn. Hey, I got that one too. The unlimited and the twice a turn. It's good. It's good. Now remember, you can play him and then double use the power the next turn too if you need to. Silverhand Regent, Holy Squire, Nexus Champion Sarad, 5 for a 4/5. Just inspire, add a random spell to your hand. I like that. That's good. 5 at the 4/5.2 is low enough that you can play it in a lot of decks without having to kind of do a lot of finagling. You're just looking to play him and then the next turn inspire, or play and inspire the same turn. Frost Giant. Thunder Bluff Valiant, 5 for a 3/6. Something's amiss. That's not too terribly great. Inspire, give your totems 2 attack. Things are a little bit better now. I don't think it's particularly impressive, but it is serviceable. Effigy, Totem Carver, Totemic, Kodo Rider. So they're talking about the giant lizards. That's what the Kodo part comes for, which is kind of cool. 6 for a 3/5. Summon a 3/5 War Kodo. Whenever you inspire, this card's really good because you only have to inspire. Paying 8 for 2 3/5s is fine. And the fact that you're going to keep inspiring and keep getting those 3/5s means that you're really going to be in a strong position very quickly. This is a high priority card to kill. Those Kodos are coming in savage. Fallen Hero. I still really like Fallen Hero. 2 for a 3/2, dealing extra damage. Ball of Spiders, summon 3/1/1 web spinners. Remember, your web spinners get random beasts when they die too, so that's... Oh, is that it? I think that's the last one. Oh. So you are getting quite a bit of value. You're getting the spiders that turn into other beasts, etc., etc., etc. All right. Yeah, so we've went through all 132 spell cards. A couple of these cards really shine. A lot of these cards you can kind of see a fairly consistent theme, powering up the rogue decks, more of an emphasis on beasts. But I want to go back to our buddy the Dark. Here, we'll just close this and we'll open it. Oh. All right. Let's relaunch Hearthstone. And look at the last little bit. Hey, is it gonna open up? Click around a little bit. Clicks. Is it working for me? You gonna go, Hearthstone? You gonna do your thing? You gonna be frozen? You gonna be frozen. Alright. There might be a little bit of lag going on just from how many people are playing. Or I didn't click that. I might have missed that too. Alright. My collection. Oh, there's so many new cards. Okay, was that Demon? I think Dreadsteed was for 4. Dreadsteed! So, I do want to highlight that Dreadsteed is so very, very strong. They've really got to be careful about what cards they print for Warlock now that this card's available to them and to everybody. I think the rest of the cards are flavorful and serve their niches right, but cards like Dreadsteed just really make me worry about their long-term viability. Again, they can change them whenever they want, which I think is a big plus. They can alter Dreadsteed. Maybe it's Death Rattle, summon a Dreadsteed at the end of turn. I think that's the easiest way to do it, the best way. 2 week would be Death Rattle, summon some other card or whatever, or multiple copies of whatever. So I think just putting the end of the turn clause basically prevents it from becoming overpowered, but we'll wait and see on that. I think that's it for today, guys. Mobius Pick will be heading out, but we'll have more content later this week. Brad is still kidnapped by ninjas. We're trying to rescue him. Not as we speak, but, you know, I'll be heading out after this, kind of trekking on over there. Brad! Trying to save him. But we'll also try to get some drafts in and other things in the time that I'm not trying to save Brad from evil ninjas. So, Mobius Pick out.